up nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Dafs Punk's in the building. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Fantastic.
Another episode of the Drew and Fuse Show. We've been slacking. It feels like we haven't done this in a minute, but we're back and we're recording today. I'm excited. I'm excited to get back into the swing of things with the show now that life is starting to get back to normal a little bit.
Yeah, we're recording this. We just dropped. It's been 2 years, dude. Congratulations. Where's the party poppers?
2 years. I would make a kazoo sound, but I don't know how to do it.
2 years. I can't even believe it. This came out of some crazy idea Fuse had. And, it's actually become a bit of an obsession for both of us. We're just like, it's a chore at some points. And then there's other moments where it's become an obsession. So we thank you guys.
It's my DJ therapy session. When I'm feeling some type of way, I can come here and let out my feelings.
Yep. And it's been amazing. I mean, just the feedback and all the you guys listening is pretty wild to us. So we're very grateful. Very grateful.
Right. I think too that it's been announced that Drew and I will be at the DJ Collective. We're both going to be doing some sets at the DJ Collective. Drew, you will be doing a video set, correct?
Yeah. It's going to be kind of near the beginning of the whole thing, and I don't want to give anything away, but it's should be pretty spiritual, and don't drop too much LSD because you're going to be tripping.
DMS is sponsoring all the break sessions. They're sponsoring the collective as a whole as well, and we will be doing all the break sessions. So myself, Drew, Grant has been announced, Icon has been announced, the Ragozas. We'll all be playing a little set. Everything's kind of themed. My theme is emo and pop punk, so I'll be doing that there as well as sitting in the classes and learning.
We got Audio One as well.
Oh yeah, that's right, Audio One.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been announced yet, but by the time this comes out, that'll be announced. Yeah, excited to go to Atlanta. I've actually, I'm not that far from Atlanta. I'm like, it's a quick flight. It's a hub, but this will actually be my first time in Atlanta, not just in the airport.
I feel like I live at that dumb airport, but I've only been out in the city. I've driven through the city a handful of times now, but only been in the city maybe once, and it is a really nice city, and can't wait to see everybody out there. It's DJ Collective. If you guys don't have a ticket yet, go grab a ticket. It's going to be an awesome show.
Real quick, just want to give a shout out to our friend Briggs. He's been hooking us up with the beard oil and candles and t-shirts and all that good stuff. So we just want to give a shout out to Briggs. If you use promo code DAFS over at briggsbeardcompany.com, you'll get 20% off. So shout out to Briggs. He's been hooking us up.
We're probably going to start a poll here on what the name of the Dafs scent's going to be. So we got a couple running ones. It's Drops of Drupiter. Fuse had the Tears from All My Haters. And then we also had JD sent in Dafs Funk, which, actually one of my favorites right there.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite too.
If you guys got a new idea, send it over because that's going to be official here coming up.
So you'll be able to smell like one of those named scents here soon. So shout out to Briggs. Also, again, with us talking about DMS, if you use the promo code Drew and Fuse Show, you'll get 30% off your first month of activation. So if you haven't signed up for DMS yet, you're looking for a reason, or maybe you're stale with your music and you want some new edits, check out DMS.
directmusicservice.com for those that don't know the acronym.
There you go. Moving forward with today, we have a great guest lined up for you guys. He's hailing in from Delaware. He has over 1.2 million followers on TikTok. He has over 400,000 followers on Instagram. His career began long before he blew up on social media. He's been flown out to places like Vegas to play private parties for the likes of the man Don Vito. After I think it was a VMA party that he did. We'll have to ask him a little bit about that. He's also had a successful career as a solo op before starting his multi-op. And I'm sure you've seen some of his viral videos before on Instagram or on TikTok. So please help us welcome Mr. Wired Up.
Thank you so much for the intro, guys. That was awesome. And I love, what was it? Tears of My Haters. I think that was probably my first one, my first trip.
That's the one.
All of them were great. All of them were great. That's probably the one that it's just, I already saw the whole commercial going into my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll have
this live.
Just monochrome, just monochromatic, just outfits, just waking up, brushing his teeth, spraying on a little spritz of the haters.
When we figure it out, when we figure out the scent, Drew and I are going to get together and do one of our filming sessions again, and we'll have to make up another Dafs infomercial type style commercial for the scent.
It's got little bits of paper in it, so you know it's good.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, we've been trying to do this, and your patience level is exceeded that of most monks, because we just keep rescheduling, and we really appreciate you being on.
No, well, hey, man, we're all very, very busy. You guys are extremely successful. Like in the green room right before, I was just saying that you guys have a lot of balls in the air. So, I'm happy to be patient, because this is a great opportunity for me.
Yeah,
thanks. We appreciate it as well. Drew, what do you want to get started with? We've wrote down a lot of questions that we wanted to kind of talk to you about. So I'm gonna let Drew lead it off here.
We're just going right into music. Let's talk music, and that's what everyone loves to talk about.
All right,
gonna play this little segment video and jump right in.
Yeah, we'll play this and then jump right in.
Hey, Drew and Fuse, Kermit the Frog here. When I'm not dealing with my pain in the ass wife, Miss Piggy, I like to talk and sing with my friends. What's your top songs? A new personal favorite of mine is this. It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. And they clean up nicely, because usually they look like shit. Yay!
All right. Shout out Jim Henson Jr. on that one.
Damn.
Coming through.
That was funny. Where do you guys come up with this content?
Most of the time, it's when I FaceTime Drew and I'm sitting on the toilet. Is most of the time where I come up with content.
It's a genius idea. Great brainstorming sessions right there. I've been a part of it.
My God.
So, now, are you doing that stuff inside, like in-house, or are you outsourcing something like that?
Well, it's classified. If we told you, we'd have to kill you.
Yeah, cut my.
So moving forward, we like to ask everybody their favorite remixer or producer, and it doesn't have to be DJ related.
I think that starting doing like these edits, right? I can appreciate the level of the different types of producers that are out there, and who has, bigger, fatter drums, who's got the best re-drums, who's got the best like remix, and drops and, things like that. I think that like DeVille is definitely up there for me in terms of like, just like how punchy his shit is. Everything just sounds like, super big and in your face and crystal clear, and measuring it up against my stuff. I feel like I've got, training wheels on. Scooter's also, one of those guys that has, spent a lot of time getting a proper sound that is just a great re-drum. Like you have a lot of remixers out there that are great, but like will just put like, match up the beats per minute with whatever drum loop they want and just put that as the, overlying drum for the re-drum, which, sometimes works and most times doesn't. So like, I just appreciate that type of style.
Right. One of the things I'll say too about that is like for a while, it was like cool to put random drums
Tipsy
under
drums.
yeah,
Right.
the tipsy drums, as we like to say. And now
Yeah.
it's so dated. Like half the stuff that from 5 to 10 years ago just sounds so dated. Whereas Scooter's done a good job, and a lot of his edits have aged well.
Yeah.
Well, both of the guys that you mentioned are DJs first, which I think all of us gravitate towards too, because that it's going to be geared towards the club versus a lot of the remixers haven't left their bedroom, and so it's never been played out. It's never been tested. It's just kind of like, oh, this sounds great, but it doesn't work, so I
Yeah.
agree.
Right. Yeah. And we were talking about that, Drew. It's like, I think the DJ X. And
Yeah.
I was like, a lot of these things that I'm doing are cool ideas for TikTok because it's 30 seconds at a time, right? And anybody can an idea, but spanning that out over the course of like a set, it doesn't really work, and that's what a lot of times I have to express to the people that are hiring me nowadays, because half of the people that I get, phone calls from Wired Up Entertainment, and, they want wedding stuff, and that's fine. That's an easy conversation. But the other people that find me on TikTok, it's like, oh, well, I love your mashups, and so we want you to do all your mashups at this particular event. And I have to hey, come here, come sit down for a second. Let me just tell you real quick. I love the idea, but I would just be like using a curse word in every single sentence. Eventually, it's just going to lose its luster. We got to weave that shit in and out,
Right.
Right.
And we do have that as a question coming up in one of our other segments, so I think we're going to hold it for a minute, but we want to dive really deep into that, because I think I do a lot of private events, and I get that question all the time, so I think we'll get to it. I have a lot of opinions about it.
Cool.
Right.
I like it. Yeah.
So the next music question is, if you could pick one song as your theme song, what would it be?
Thong song.
Yes. That threw me
He
for a
just
loop. I
walks
wasn't
into the
expecting
grocery
it.
store, and it's that thong, 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 thong.
It's just all I see is him walking. Does he look kind of like the Grinch when he's on the beach, when he's going to all the towels, and he's kind of hobbling along like the Grinch in that video?
Yeah. Oh man.
You're right. He does kind of have very
Yeah, he's
Grinch-like tendencies in that music video.
Yeah.
If you had Stylist Chris coined it as a parachute song. Like if you're struggling when you're DJing and you just need to go to a song that works, what would that song be?
It's got to be some sort of slam edit. Hang on. There's I don't know, what's it called? Show me. Yeah. Show me love in this club. Get your damn hands up. I don't know who made it. The Hollow Boys.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
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 Classic.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
DJ Vice and DJ Echo. They were the Hollow Boys.
Fantastic. I loved it. I mean, that one. I mean, and it has to be a slam because if I'm in a panic, it's 3, 2, 1. I gotta slam something in, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that one, I think, out of all the slams out there, probably works the best.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right and true.
One of the things we like to do is the Serato top 5, and we can do it if you want. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. But we just look at your Serato versus your play count. So if you pull up play count in Serato, and
Man, I don't know if it's gonna ring true because there's some songs out here. Hang on, we'll see. Let's go check it out.
Well, and we've also found some glitches where mixed in key or other softwares add plays to the play counter. So there might be some where you're like, there's no way that's true. But even if you just want to give us some of the ones that you play all the time.
Okay. So can you see this?
No. So you'll just have to read them off to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on.
Now I can share it. Yeah. There we go.
Oh, wow. There we go.
Okay. Where is it? What is it called? Plays.
Yep.
Plays.
And then you.
Yep.
There we
Look.
go.
Oh my God. See.
There you go.
It's number 1. There it is.
61 plays. Easy on me. The Scooter remix. The mix show edit. See, this doesn't make any sense. I've never played Show Me by Cover Girls in my life. But
Right.
that's
Maybe
31 plays.
some people add them in. Me and Fuse were thinking about doing that for all of our Dafs bootlegs, just putting
Oh,
200.
hang on a second. No, I'm dumb. I'm dumb because I forgot to clear out the search field.
Oh, there you go. All right.
But this also doesn't make sense because I don't have 1,021 plays of the "Can't Believe It" by T-Pain acapella intro. That'd be aggressive.
Levels could makes a lot of sense.
Levels
I play that almost every night.
Yeah, and I definitely do this one too a lot. The Starjack edit of Gold Digger.
Okay. Yeah.
This low marching band one. Definitely.
I have not heard that.
Yeah, I don't know
I'll have to look that up.
I'm not getting any audio, but that's all right. We'll have to look.
Oh, you can't get the audio on it.
We'll look it up and we'll try and clip it in.
Yeah, I'll send you the file so that way you can utilize it. The Moonlight Serenade. The reason why that's so high is because when I do weddings, like it's a great filler song for people not to get confused with, oh, I guess I can dance to this, or I guess I can go and do this. It's like, no, sit the hell down. This is what we're doing. Going right from first dance right into our toasts, and we're just moving forward, kind of like Grammy music, right? Going from one thing to another.
That is a great one. I shelved that after a while, and I gotta revisit that. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna mark that down.
And the other thing, I mean, like what I've been doing recently, aside from that, and me and my buddy DJ Brano did this at a couple of weddings, where you just take like a well-known intro, outro, like a song that's very, very well known, where like the lead is well known, like Next Episode or some shit like that, and just loop it, right? So looping that as people are coming in for a toast, coming out from a toast, moving from one formality to another. We know with respect to like weddings, right?
Yep. That's one thing I took away. I like to go roadie for people all the time, and the doing that intro walk up music I think is so valuable. It just really keeps the tone going and the party going. So yeah, it's really
for
good.
Sure. I mean, and I'm always like listening in for like the toast to have something to do with music or some sort of theme. Like there was this one it was a couple of weeks ago, and the groom was a candy fanatic and had one of those candy stations with Reese's, and not only that, had different colored like M&Ms segregated in different jars, and it was a thing, right? And the groom's I think it was the groom's brother, who was the best man, touched on the fact that he loved candy in his speech, and at the end I played that I want candy as he was finding his seat. And after I did that, I went table to table, making sure the music wasn't too loud, and people were like asking for cards left and right just because of that. That was a really creative idea. I love your card. Like that's something so simple can really leave a lasting impression on people.
It sounds like whoever worked for him is like a big that old Van Halen writer where it's like only green M&Ms.
But you know why that happened, right? You know why they did that? Because
you tell the story. Yeah, it's great.
Well, I mean, like, so I just discovered this because I, for the first time in history, started submitting a rider because that's what people were interested in what they needed when I was flying out to places like Vegas or wherever. Because again, like had TikTok not been a thing for me, I would still be in Delaware doing weddings 15 minutes from my house. You know what I mean? So it's an adjustment. And when I submitted my rider to the company that flew me out to Vegas for opening for Journey, they were like, your rider needs to be a lot more technical, and here's the reason why, and told me the story of the green M&Ms. And I was like, yeah, I never really thought that. I just thought it was like a power move, like, yeah, ask for green M&Ms. But really it was that they had such an extensive like ask for like these different types of drum heads and this and that and the third, to where if they paid attention and they segregated the green M&Ms, then they knew that they actually like combed through the rider and did what they needed to do. Whereas like if they just had M&Ms in multicolors in just a big bowl, they would fucking bounce. They would just be like, all right, we're not doing the show, because they knew that they didn't care about their rider, which is pretty interesting.
Right.
Huh. And the stage, I don't think I've heard the full story ever.
Well, also because it could be dangerous, like if the stage wasn't set up right, if they didn't read the stuff, then who's to say they paid attention to setting up the stage correctly or the truss or all that stuff? So yeah, it is necessary.
I just thought it was a
Right.
bunch of like horny rock musicians. Like, no, just the green ones.
Right. Moving forward, is there any other new
songs.
music or anything that you're listening to that you like?
No.
It's okay to say.
Well,
no.
it could be old as a good edit, right? Like I think I've been bringing back like old shit, or something that maybe is like.
You know what I've been loving, and I think Scooter's probably the one that does it the most, is utilizing stems for bringing in. So it would have like a 16 bar intro and then a slam at the end on the one of the 17th bar, and or you know what I mean, or the 8th bar, and then it would have like an acapella intro, and then maybe 4 bars go by, and then the bass line comes in, and then the lead comes in, and then like a drum fill, and then the whole song comes together at like the hook. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Scooter has a couple of those that I really like. I think like Wannabe is one of them. Fused to your edit that you're doing or the songs that you're doing in the collective, he's got a couple that fit that emo vibe.
Right.
So the Sugar I'm Going Down or something like that.
Yeah.
But I like that type of that type of vibe.
Yeah, he did one Levitating I play all the time.
Yeah.
Those edits are great when you're playing to a crowd, but if you've ever played them to like a half full room, you're like, this is kind of awkward.
Yeah. Yeah. You need people to kind of like soak up the energy of that.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah. No, but I like a lot of those, like when it's like popping and like the acapella just, the song drops in and it's just the acapella. It's like everybody always sings along to it.
Yeah. You know what? I have been going on like some crazy hunt for like hook only or hook first or chorus firsts,
Yeah.
and I've just categorized them into like one specific folder, and then just kind of picking and choosing the ones that I would actually play. And then just, kind of doing quick edits like that. Those are fun. And if not, then I'll, at least learn a little bit of, stuff inside of Ableton to where I can kind of create my own.
Yeah, a lot of people use Flip, but I had Flip done, and you wouldn't expect the flip to come in, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, it like flips the hook, and then it flips out, and I'm like, oh damn it, the song's over. But I know me and Fuse like re-edit a lot of those to have the hook first. We play so fast that you can have a short edit, but when the hook's twice, it doesn't feel like it was like that short.
Yeah,
I don't feel robbed.
Yeah. I wonder if you can do so I don't use Flip, but it's a really cool idea to use Flip. And then like that one toggle on like the audio size of the audio tab of the settings in Serato. It's got like use this to bring in audio to an external program, and you can use that inside of Ableton. So if you just hit play and the flip is doing its thing, then it's playing and recording inside of Ableton. And then as long as, you got your levels right, it should just be like an easy export, and then boom, it's done,
Flip to me has just never been perfect.
No.
There's always, it has like a little off. It's great for, I think, on the flyer to have like some stuff done, or a lot of the guys I knew that used it all the time were video guys. So re-editing the video was more of a hassle than just using like a flip. I mean, I don't know. I haven't tried it, and I haven't spent enough time with it to say whether that would work right or not.
Yeah, because Flip, I think it relies on you hitting certain cue points, right?
Well, you can set you could preset the cue points, and then I haven't spent enough time with it, but yeah, I think you could preset the cue point, so it does come in at the right spot if you set it right on that bar. But yeah,
I just remember trying to like do crazy like beat juggling patterns and have it recorded, and like it wouldn't record the way that I wanted it to because of how I was doing it. I don't know if they did like a part 2 or a Mark 2 or whatever, but I missed that. I missed the bridge.
Well,
Remember the bridge?
That's your the bridge was the greatest of all time. I
I
love
don't
the
know
bridge.
what they're doing. What's happening? You know what I mean? It would have been perfect for us right now.
Perfect. The bridge was incredible. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, sad.
Yeah.
Rip the bridge.
I found a workaround on only the Rev 7 and the S11 to date, but those are two controllers or mixer that you can record your set in Ableton, and as long as you set the input as the S11, you can set track 1 to channels 9 and 10 or 7 and 8, and track 2 to 9 and 10, and it'll keep track 1 separate from track 2 respectively inside of Serato. So you can do a mix, and if you fuck up at like 30 minutes, you can go back and it'll keep that segregated, and you can just pick up where you left off.
Wow.
Interesting.
Good to know.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's a cool trick.
Awesome. I think that's gonna wrap up our little music segment, and we're gonna move on to social media. And of course, we got another fun social media clip to play, so we'll play this and then we'll get started with some questions on that.
Okay, here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4. Drew and Fuse, I'm all shook up, you hound dogs. Don't be cruel. There's now or never. Let's talk social media.
The first edit of that one had for like a minute straight. You just
That
kept
was pretty.
saying
Should have kept it a minute straight. That's so funny.
So kind of discussing what we were talking about, earlier with social media, that, people find you on social media and they think that, all you do is mashups. We can kind of start with that a little bit.
Yeah.
What is, do you find yourself having to have that conversation a lot now these days?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, well, so again, it depends on where the lead's coming from, right? It's definitely a challenge, owning a multi-op and then also growing this Mr. Wired Up persona. And sometimes people, like one of the first questions that I ask, and I haven't really found a smug or not smug way to ask it, but it's like, hey, like, did you find us based on my, Instagram, because that's where a lot of the leads are coming from, and they come and they funnel through Wired Up, or did you find us through Wedding Wire the Knot, and because it's important for me to distinguish who I'm talking to, right? Because I don't necessarily want to sell somebody on like what I've grown on social media if they don't even know that I've existed and they're just looking for a wedding entertainer, right?
Right.
But when I do receive those calls, yeah, I mean, it does take a little bit massaging, it's like, hey, what do you like about my mixes? Do you want all of those mixes to be played? Like, do you just want like mashups? And I'm waiting for them to say yes. And then I say, like, can I just be honest with you? In my experience, having a mashup is a great way to kind of, turn people's heads and you really to kind of like emphasize almost like an exclamation point to a sentence, right? But if you speak in, like I said before, if you speak every single sentence as an exclamation point, you lose that dynamics, right? You lose the dynamics. So you kind of have to, again, weave it in, and, I'm happy to play the mashups that you love, but, at a certain point, we have to recognize that not everybody likes mashups. So the question that I have for you is, do you want me to play just mashups and nothing but mashups, which I'm happy to do, or do you want me to populate the dance floor in the best way possible, right? Because oftentimes it's not the same.
Right.
I was gonna say my experience with a lot of this is people, will say, well, we love the mashups on this, or we saw, say, yourself, or we saw this on TikTok and we love the mashup style. And I've just been going with it lately, like, oh yeah, exactly. And people also allocate it to mixing quicker, or like just having some mashups, like that's what you're doing, right? They don't know how to articulate
exactly.
But they are just like, just make it cracking but different and not 5 minutes of a song.
Yeah.
So that's what I've come across. And that's what I was holding back from saying is I've just been going with it instead of trying to just be like, yeah, that's exactly, I'm going to like overly explaining it because people are just like, they go like,
oh yeah,
blink in the face. Like, I don't know what he's saying. Just do you do them or not? So I'm like, I just say, yes. Got you, fam.
Yeah. But it's problematic because so I was hired in Nashville for a very big bar, and it's a bar that's known for line dancing.
Right.
And so they put me on the ticket as a mashup artist and, your favorite country mashups in tandem with these line dances, right? And nobody knew how this was going to go to begin with because it's the first time we're doing all of this. But the line dance community is so prevalent in Nashville and specifically at this bar that when I tried to fade out of the known line dance songs that they love into my mashups, they were still like doing the line dance set to my mashups on. I didn't have a way to be like, oh no, don't do that. I mean,
yeah.
So they tried to, I guess, put my mashups in with the line dances, and all they wanted at that particular bar was just straight up line dances. So recognizing that, my mashups are doing more harm than good in that certain situation, I just played the line dances, and everyone was happy. So it's definitely situational, but it's something that I feel like I need to say, especially when people are putting up a lot of money, like, hey, before you get overexcited with all these mashups that I'm going to be throwing, out there, just so you know, what I do 30 seconds at a time on TikTok is not what I do for 4 hours straight,
Well, is there a way to sell it to where maybe you have the edit of the line dance, right? It's the full song, but then there's like a break. You re-chop the edit, the song. It's the full song. And then before the chorus or after the chorus, you have like a little break to where you could do a scratch and you could throw on, something. And then it goes back to the line dance.
Yeah.
Right. It never left that song. It just is like throwing it on top of it.
So it's just two things that I realized when I was doing that. Number one was the first thing where integrating my mashups in midst of these line dances. Like if we were to play at a wedding and you were, and Cupid Shuffle, the wobble, and Cha-Cha Slide were on the table, right? I don't know about you guys, but I'm not throwing them back to back to back. You know what I mean? Like I'm using that like an oh shit handle in the car. Like if I lose my dance floor, like I guess I'll throw in a line dance and come out from the booth and teach the line dance, right? But these guys are insistent on having line dance from one into another, into another, into another, into another, and more specifically, waiting for that line dance to end to regroup. Because, and so what I did, so I lost the dance floor significantly halfway through my performance because I was like mixing these line dances in from one to another to another. And they were like, what the fuck? Like, I need a break. Right. And then
like, I've been line dancing for 6 hours straight.
So like halfway, it was more like the last hour, like I came to the realization and I told the people hiring me, like, look, like if we're doing this again, I think that I need to be a little bit more microphone centric and less mixy and let people know after a specific time frame that we decide is a good, maybe 30-minute, 45-minute set of line dances, and then rotate the dance floor, but don't do it how we would rotate a dance floor, like without our vocals, like literally blatantly. All right, go, great job line dancing. Go ahead, you've earned a drink by the bar, take care of your bartenders, that type of shit. And meanwhile, I'm going to play some fun mashups for the people that didn't really want to do line dances and then rotate back, because trying to do it back and forth like that was just pissing people off.
Well, you're paving the way. I mean, it's something that's never been done before because it's a genre that's kind of sort of not used to DJs. So you're paving a new way, and maybe that's just what your brand looks like moving forward.
Maybe
so like a new performance. It's a new style performance.
It's like people have been line dancing for 30 minutes. You're like, all right, great job. Grab a drink at the bar, and here's back that ass up. Like, and like just the strings of that come in. Yeah. Like in my head, I could just picture people being like.
Definitely an interesting like community in Nashville. Like it was really, really cool seeing how the town kind of did their thing, where, what people really liked, what people didn't like, and which bars were notorious for certain, things to be played. and why people congregated to those bars versus other bars at certain, times, days of the week. It was, and everybody, it's like going to Hollywood and, going out to Shake Shack or something. Like that same person is trying to make it as, an actor and actress, in the same way that like the people that are selling you your cowboy boots are also like really accomplished musicians, just like trying to make money while they're in between gigs. So everybody's a musician, which was super cool to see.
Are you finding yourself like outside of Nashville, like at your events, are you playing a lot of country music and or country mashups? Like I really don't like country music at all, but like I'm playing like Morgan Wallen like last night, and like maybe the Luke Combs Fast Car I play every once in a while too, like a bootleg of that. But like, Are you finding yourself playing a lot of country?
So when I do weddings, right? When I'm doing a wedding and I'm in the midst of a cocktail hour, I'll start to do my well-known country mashups that are like, modest tempo, like, you're not really dancing, but like it's cool to hear. Like the Always Be My Baby and Chicken Fried One hits really hard with that. There's another Die a Happy Man and Ja Rule, and J-Lo, I'm Real. That one hits really, really hard. And it makes sense, right? And from there, I kind of springboard into, like a 90s to 105, like, beat per minute dance set, and just kind of like it happened organically. But after that, I mean, maybe a couple here and there, but it's really, it's contingent on the crowd, because there's some people that don't like country at all, right? But then...
Well, you weren't a country DJ at all before, right? And
no, and I'm still not. That's the funniest thing. I'm trying to explain to people, like, yeah, sure, I'll play my country mashups. I have 5 of them. You want me to just go ahead and loop them, or like?
But at the same time, like, what I want to say is that's what just seems to be hitting right on TikTok is these country mashups. And so is it almost like lean heavier into it? I know we were talking to Eric Rhodes when he was on the podcast, and I was like, bro, there's no competition in that field. Just fucking lean on it, you know? And you're going to have to carve a new path, and, but there's no competition, period. So do you find that because those chart so well that you're doing more of them?
Yeah, I mean, like, you turn over the rocks, you find the gold. It's like one of those things where you plug away, and sometimes TikTok has a disgusting habit of putting like you in this corner, right, in this box with whatever niche you're demonstrating at the moment. If you step 1 foot outside of that niche, TikTok's like, I don't get it. I don't know what to do for you anymore, right? And so, now I think both me and Eric have painted ourselves into this country mashup box, and that's the looks. That's what's generating the views. That's what's generating the business, right? Because there are some other ones that Eric's come up with, which are fantastic, and I've come up with what I thought really cool ideas, and they just don't take off for us, and we're just like, the hell's going on? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just like ride the wave until, the whole Morgan Wallen trend dies down and the whole country thing dies down. And then, I guess go find another host.
Can you port those ones that you thought should have crushed over to Instagram, and they do better there because Instagram's not, sandbagging it?
Yeah, I think
I don't know if that's something you tried or whatever.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, like I'll have, I always post to TikTok first, and then I'll grab the video and I'll do the same, repost to Instagram, and I'll measure it that way, and I'll measure the comments and figure out, like, most times it goes like hand in hand. But sometimes, yeah, you're right. Like Instagram will take off a little bit more than TikTok if it is kind of out of that genre of country mashups with, hip hop or something, because I don't know. It's just.
Do you feel like your accounts are still growing? And I don't mean that to like ask in a, like I just don't know, like, how when your accounts, like, you have 1.2 million followers on TikTok, like, do you find that you're still growing, or do you feel like it's stale, or like?
It's a great question. You do see growth, right? But it's not as, I mean, it's like if you have that much growth, you're seeing growth incrementally. You're not seeing like the level of growth that you would see from like 30,000 to 100,000 to 200,000. It's just smaller. And then also too, like you're not seeing that. It just says like 1.2, right?
Right.
Or whatever it is once you breach 1 million, so that you're there until the next 100,000 rolls past, right? So it feels longer and a little bit more monotonous, but I'm sure it is still steady growth. I mean, you still see, people liking, people, tagging other people. You still see all the activity plus the follows and stuff. But yeah, I mean, like I think that the big difference between me and Eric, like Eric, like his engagement rate is unbelievable. Like he's so likable, and he's just like this from day one. I mean, it's just been a steady growth for him. And me, it's like, bro, it's like, I get a little bit of virality and then it just plummets, right? And then I get another video somehow, some way, and then it just tanks, right? And then I just find the next viral video. It's like hitting the NOS button, and then until it dies out, and then you're just like, oh, that was fun. Okay.
Well, leading into this question is, we both wanted to know, how are you coming up with these mashups? And, like what's, I'm sure it's, I think we talked about it in the green room, so I'm re-asking this question, but yeah, just coming up with some of them, the ideas.
Yeah, I mean, so sometimes the ideas are right there in the comments, right? Where it's an artist that I forgot about for 5 years, and I'd be like, oh shit, that's a really cool idea, really cool, artist. I'll circle back to that. Sometimes it's like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. Like I'll start with that artist, right? And I'll try something, and then I'll be like, I don't like that, but I like the drums that I put it over, so I'll keep the drums, and this song's away, and I don't really care about that song anymore. And next thing I know, I've got something that's completely different from the idea that I started with. That happens more times than me thinking of like, oh my God, this song and this song would be really cool together, right? That's not really how my brain works. A lot of it's trial and error, and I just put a lot of time into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like looking at the keys, and you're like, oh, these are all in key, and is that kind of a path that you use?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like you definitely want to find something that's, in the right beat per minute. I would say like plus or minus like 10 BPMs, right? And then I'm always a big stickler. I think the big difference between me and a lot of other mashup artists is that like I am like a very big stickler as far as like remaining in that key. Like even if it's in the key, even if it's like a 4A and a 4A, and it technically should work, but it still sounds a little weird to me, I'm not fucking doing it. You know what I mean? I'm only going to do something that like, has the right vibe, and then also has like that key that people are like, oh wow, this sounds like it should have been together the whole entire time.
Yeah,
right.
That makes sense. One of the questions I wanted to ask, I'm pretty sure we asked Eric this same question, but like, with the popularity of like your TikTok and your Instagram, do you ever like go out somewhere like around your house? Like if you go to like the grocery store and somebody's like, hey, aren't you that guy?
The funny thing is that yes, it does happen, not as frequently as I would hope, because it would be awesome. Right. Hey, what's up, Mr. White? What's up, man?
Yeah,
it doesn't happen like that. But there are some times where people will come up to me and they'll mention that they follow me, and it's really cool. I mean, you put in all this work, you want to kind of see the fruits of your labor, and that's just a great testament to it all.
Right. And I got another.
You're saying you don't have headshots just in your thing, and you're just like, oh, you recognize me? My bad.
Oh, yeah.
Here you go.
You'd like walk around with it.
Oh, I just happen to have a Sharpie as well. Here you go.
This is a more personal question, and I asked Eric this because I'm curious, and I think a lot of people, and as DJs, we deal with this, because you're in the limelight, whether it's a little bit or a lot of it. You're married, correct?
Yeah.
Have you found that your new fame on social media has caused like any jealousy issues within, your relationship at all?
If only to say that like my wife is also a business owner and wants the amount of followers and engagement that I have, which I help her, every time I understand something, like, oh wow, I should have been doing this all this while, and this would have resulted in this. Like I share that information with her, but no, not to the point where I mean, look, dude, I'm like 65 up top. Like I'm not fucking Eric Rhodes, you know what I mean? Like I don't have people sliding in my DMs being like, God damn, you're gorgeous. But
hey, you never know. Somebody might slide in after this podcast and be like, "Sell me them boxer shorts."
If it's you, it's welcomed. If it's not, no. But there, of course, like there are a couple people. But I think morally speaking, I would never ever act on something like that. And I think that having a family, you're not just cheating on your wife, you're cheating on your family with that type of shit.
Right.
No,
it's just one of those things that like comes, you didn't ask.
Almost come with the territory, right? Yeah.
Right.
With the amount of eyes on you, people out of left field. But I mean, like I've gotten weird, like crazy calls, and that's the crazy thing about like the TikTok thing and the DJ thing is, again, this whole thing is only relatively brand new to the DJ business. It's only been like 2 years. So I have to answer my phone because that's how I had my business set up. You know what I mean? Like, so everything's funneling through. And I had, when I first started like really ramping up and gaining traction, I would get calls every single day. Some by people that wanted to book me and some people that were just like, yeah, this is Rick and I own a pet farm and it would be really awesome if you came down here and, be like, cool, man. Like, and nothing comes out of it. Got to the point where this is a funny story. So I was still fielding these phone calls and I would just act like my brother-in-law, Brian, because if they knew that it was me, then people would talk my ear off for like a half hour. And I was too nice to be like, no, I can't talk. I gotta go. Right. Yeah. So it was this country music festival in Calgary and like a big one. And I didn't know who these people were, but I'm like, yeah, this is Brian. And then, start talking to these guys and they're saying that like, they're sponsored by Jack Daniels. They want me to fly out and do a country music or a country mashup set. And it would be, they'd fly my family out and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm happy to talk with them. And I start talking more and more. Right. And they're like, oh man, you sound a lot like the guy from the videos. You sure this is? So I'm playing into this. Meanwhile, I'm like two-faced. We're having email conversations under my signature. Like these guys clearly know that it's me. Right. And it's like, no, it's fine every single time.
That makes sense though. I mean, I could understand that as well. Like just random people that want to call and talk because, they can get a hold of you. It's there. It's accessible, Yeah.
Have you thought about like separating the brands? I mean, just having a very dedicated website for just your stuff and not having it funnel through. Because I understand that the leads are coming in and you want to be able to funnel them in, but I'm saying it's becoming this much of a hassle, just separating them completely.
It's tough to do because, the wired and I'm happy to, take anything into account. So if you've got words of wisdom, please, run them by me because I could definitely use it. But I've had to hire a manager who sorts everything, right? And that has, more, power than just fielding your own phone calls as Mr. Wired Up, because I don't think people expect, me or Eric to be, handling our own negotiations, right?
Right.
But because my cell phone is the same as my business line, because when I started this, it was just me, right? I never changed into a different phone number. So it's still my personal line. And that's where it gets problematic. So, I've taken a page out of Justin the DJ's book where, all of the email leads that come or all the leads that come in through DMs, I have like a many chat link set up to where it's like an automated thing and I don't have to worry about that. And they kind of like pre-qualify themselves, with that respect. But there are people that, care so much that they will find my contact information, look me up and call me and then just express their, how much which is great. But
I understand what you're saying. It's just that I think, for lack of a better idea, like say Madonna becomes Madonna. She doesn't still have her cell phone out there, right? So at some point you're going to have to pull it, and switch it over to
I'm
something
not
else.
I'm not excited about remembering another 7 digits there, Drew. I don't want to do that.
Well, okay. Here's a better idea. Keep that one as is and get a new one.
And then forward everything to the new one?
No, the new one becomes your personal one.
Oh. Okay.
And then the old one stays as is, stays a business line. You don't have to change anything. It's just no one has the new one.
No one.
Yeah, then you're just already gold.
And then whoever I want to give
phones.
the new one to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the people that, then that's just straight business. And then you got the new one is so Brian can answer the one that's always been your cell phone, but
Right.
you got the new one now so that no one has,
Interesting. That's a good idea, man. That's a really cool idea. Fuse, you got anything to add to that? No brain busters for me.
He said, I got 2 phones, one for the low, one for the hose.
Speaking of Kevin Gates, he's in Cincy tonight, so that'll be fun. I'm not going to the show now.
Oh no.
I don't want to get my mouth spit in on stage by him. Have you seen any of his show clips that pop up on TikTok or anything? He is wild. He is wild. Look some up.
I will.
You're gonna be like, wow. Anyway, moving forward still with social media, you have a Patreon, correct?
Yeah.
If somebody signs up for your Patreon, what can they expect from it?
All right. So when somebody signs up for Patreon for me, they have access to just streaming. They have access to streaming and downloads, or a mixture of all three. Download, streaming, and my mixtapes, right? And there are different price points, and obviously, Patreon's cool because they set everything up for you. They even send people swag when they, reach a level of, commitment to you, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, that's been paying the bills. It's been fun.
And so your streaming is all through Patreon now? You just stream solely through, if somebody wants to watch you stream, they have to sign up for your Patreon?
No, the tracks are stream based.
Gotcha.
Tracks are stream based. Yeah. So I mean, I tried that. You guys try that going live?
No,
not for me.
But
I can't.
I think the TikTok live is actually pretty good if you have your audience. But we were doing the Twitch back in the Twitch days, and I loved it. It was just
I did not.
It would disappear, and it was a wrap. And so I guess if you did it and then reposted it or gave it as a rewatchable thing.
So I mean,
behind the Patreon wall.
Yeah, I think the reason why I decided to do Patreon was because I was live one night, and this is still, in the heart of the pandemic, where people are no jobs, no nothing, looking for something to do. And some dude tips me $1,000 and literally says it in the comments, right? And I was like, oh my God, dude, I'm blown away. What can I play for anything you guys want, right? At the end of the show, right, it was a 3-hour, I did Mr. Wired Up White Claw Wednesdays, which just get absolutely trashed on White Claws, get diabetes in the process, and a couple dollars in the pocket. And as I was doing so, I would get tipped. One of these guys tipped me $1,000, along with these other people that would tip me throughout the night. When I cashed out, I had $600, right? And I would normally get $300 or $400 from everybody else. Plus, this guy told me that he tipped me $1,000. So when I did the math, turns out that TikTok takes 60% of your earnings from going live. And I was like, that's criminal.
Damn.
Yeah. So I knew at that point that I knew that money could be made on TikTok, but at a significantly higher cost than having people jump off of there and be able to relive these mashups on their own account, on their own accord, at X amount of dollars, right? So that's why I decided to kind of jump ship over to the Patreon side. And what I realized after the Patreon thing too is and this is a page out of Eric's book, is it's a high barrier of entry. I'm asking people to jump off of a platform, sign up for something at cash value, right? And and in exchange, I'm giving you mashups, right? But it's hard to do, and there's a lot of people that don't do it. When I realized that doing an email-based type of subscription model is a better way to kind of go about it. And then that way it can still have links and drip on people through Patreon, but it would be, hey, here's a free mashup that I did this past week. If you like this, there's tons more at my Patreon link, right down below or whatever.
Right.
But now people can, hear about me, every week or bi-weekly or monthly. And, I can keep them informed. And also I'm collecting these email leads. And so the lead list is now, tens of thousands, and it's grown to that point. And if I can somehow work with, advertisers to, have a website dedicated to this specific email generation, then I can have that make money residually. And I'm just continuing to grow the email list. So I think that that's the new plan for my social media.
How are you pushing people from TikTok to your email? Is it just on each one of your videos, or it's in your bio, or like how are they grabbing that?
Right. So Justin the DJ, by the way, if you guys don't know this kid, he is extremely brilliant. He is also on social media and does his own really creative content. But he told me about this program called ManyChat, and ManyChat is like an if and when type of application, right? Similar to kind of like Zapier, but for comments. So anytime somebody comments the word full song, I have an email or a DM sent to them with the link to my link tree, right? And then that link tree has a free 40-minute mashup, which all they need to give me is just their email address. So they're going to do that before, becoming a patron of mine. And once they do that, then,
Yeah. Well, it's smart. And Justin's been on the show. You guys can go back and listen to his episode as well. But yeah.
So all in all, has it been worth it? Do you feel like
Yeah. I mean, like
That's
it's
good.
it is a lot of work, and it's still a lot of work. You know what I mean? And I don't want to, say that if you start, doing TikToks now and Instagram now and doing mashups that you're going to go viral too. It's probably not going to happen in 1, 2, or 20. Like I remember when I first started, I had almost 50 that I've created, right? And none of them went viral. So I deleted everything, all 50, and I started again. And, this time with a little bit more consistency in how I was doing that versus like doing a funny video because I like comedy, and then also doing a DJ video, and then also a video with me and my kids. Like it was just too much for TikTok to comprehend. So I decided to wash it all away and go niche, right? But I'd say that overall, the thing that myself, Justin, Nick Spinelli, Eric, and everybody else that's grown a significant following on TikTok has done that many other people have not done is remain consistent. That's really that's the cream of that's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And then one more question is, do you find it weird that like yourself and Eric and Nick, even in like a different way, like you all kind of have your styles, and Justin too, but you guys gain some success from doing what you're doing on social media, and then every fucking DJ in the world is trying to do exactly what you're doing. Like I guess what I'm asking and what I'm saying at the same time, it's more of a statement, and maybe you would agree with it, but like you have to, with success like yours and Eric's and Nick's and Justin's, if you want to be like more prominent on social media, I feel like you have to figure out your own thing and then continue to do it, whatever that thing is. You can't just rip off somebody else and expect it to.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, I've people that literally take my exact, like, what if I took this song and this song? I literally every single line that I say, they take it and they do it. And, it works for them. I don't really care. Like, I don't mind if anybody's biting off of me, but I think that you're right. Like, you're going to get your own, like, here's what's going to happen. I will tell you exactly what happened to me and what happens to most people, right? Oftentimes you have this internal hurdle with like you wanting to put something out because you're not sure how it's going to be received by everybody else. fuck that, get it out. It needs to happen, right? And when it does, and when it happens consistently, the next heartbreaking thing's going to happen where all of your friends disappear. The friends that you know that, you know, you typically have conversations that aren't about anything on social media, they go away, most of them, because it's annoying, you know, post after post after post after post after post after post. I've, you know, signed up to being your friend. I haven't really signed up to watching these videos after, you know, one after another.
Right.
So, you know, the floodgates are open and it's all this shitty poopy water, right? And you're just clearing all of that out until you get good, like clear water, right? And that is just synonymous with like your own following. The people that are replacing your friends for people that actually like you and your content and want to see more of it, right? And then you'll start to develop a following based on that, and you'll develop your own like cult, so to speak. And these people have your back, and it is fucking awesome. I mean, don't lose sight of these people because this is like your core group, right? And then the more traction you get, the more haters you get. You got to look at those haters as like earning a merit badge. Like, you know, there's not one person in history is hated on another, you know, in a pinnacle position. You know what I mean? You're not looking down at somebody saying, like, oh, you're a piece of shit. What's up?
That Cat Williams video talks about haters, and anytime my kid has problems, I play her this video, and it's like, if you have 15 haters right now, you need to find your way to get to 50 by the end of summer. You know, it's like,
yeah. I mean, like that's what it is. I like to mess with haters online. I think it's a lot of fun going in the comments and, you know, rolling up my sleeves sometimes. But yeah, I mean, like you just got to take what they're saying with a grain of salt, because those haters, honestly, you know, they saying more about them than it is about you, coming into your DMs and replying with some shitty comment or making you try to feel bad, because at the end of the day, they watched your video. They took the time out of their day to comment
seriously
on your video, right? And at the end of the day, guess what? That action creates more likes and views and more and more virality for you. So, you know, thank you. Right.
I think you brought up something that has never been said before about like internet content on this show. And it's a great point. And it's like where you start off with your friends that follow you, but then you actually get people that follow you for your content. And that's who you need to start catering to. And, you know, if you're your real friends, you'll communicate still within your real life and all that. But, you know, if that's what you're trying to develop, then you need to keep moving forward with that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And I want to add that you actually just said what I was saying about getting your own phone is you need to have a new way of communicating with them. You're saying all the things that happen to you over the thing, right? Your friends go away and they go to a different thing. And now this new line is just your media. And so you need to get an offsite thing for your friends and for all your family and all the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because I always thought about how I was going to convert the business to a new phone, Drew. Right.
Yeah.
And you just, I mean, you solved my problem by making it think about the exact opposite thing. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, because there's a hell of a lot less friends that I have that are going to be contacting me. So it's easier for me to just get a new phone and contact them directly through there. So,
right.
Thank you for that. That's awesome.
All right. Well, we can play this crazy DJ story video. We can go into that. And then if you think of something, we can do a rant.
Okay.
You're crazy, man. You're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy.
That was a crazy Drew Pierce production right there of like
fantastic
high quality.
High quality.
I will say that,
video.
like, you know, they're not grainy videos. They're well produced. They are well
Only the best. Only the best.
Yeah, so a crazy DJ story from a night gone great, a night gone wrong. Anything you want to tell us in that, we'd love to hear it.
Okay. All right. So it's probably like my first year DJing weddings, and we use DJ EP, and some information we get, like the venue, and this is like, you know, 10 years ago. And some we don't get, like the address, because we were like, oh, we'll just plug the venue into the navigation and we'll be on our way. So we're DJing at Lakewood Country Club, and Lakewood, New Jersey is about like 2.5 hours from us. So we begin our journey to Lakewood Country Club. And when we get there, the kitchen staff is mopping and there's really nobody there. It's like just the kitchen staff. So we're asking the workers if there's an event here today, and if so, like, where's the location? And meanwhile, my heart's racing because I'm not seeing like the telltale signs of a wedding. And they in broken English, they're saying like, no wedding today. And so I call the groom and I was like, hey, I just want to make sure I have the right address. And he's saying to me, blah, 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 Lakewood Country Club in, Bethesda, Maryland. Right. And I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. I'm in Jersey, So I call one of my guys. To go, and
How far is this?
Well,
What's
it's
the
about
distance?
4 hours.
Oh my god.
4 hours. So now we get to venues roughly 2 to 3 hours ahead of time. And for this particular package that we had a photo booth, uplighting, 2 televisions, monogram. It was a bigger one. And at least for us at the time, and so we're freaking panicking, got like pedal to the metal, like we're driving like 90, trying to get to where we need to. And I just told Russ, I said, get through cocktail hour, you'll buy us an hour, And so we were able to get to the venue, set up everything with the bride and groom not noticing at all, because the bride threw a tantrum, thank the freaking God, because she had misplaced her veil and would not walk down the aisle, and it took her an hour to find that. So it was an hour that we needed to get everything in position. But after that moment, we made sure to get not only the venue but the address as well. Hard lesson.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
Yeah,
gosh, it's giving me anxiety.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The closest thing I ever had to something like that happen is I was on my way to a wedding that was 2 hours away, and I was the last car in an 8-car pileup that got hit.
Oof.
And I had all of my stuff in my van, and it basically destroyed the van. I had to do the frantic call, and like same thing happened to roll in right at cocktail hour, get everything up and running, and they didn't even realize what had happened. But
It's
yeah,
the best.
wild.
I mean, those are the moments where you really find out what you're made of. And then also, they're just eye-opening things when, especially like you're doing your own business stuff. It's like, okay, like this needs to be tweaked immediately. You know what I mean? This can never ever happen again.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
For sure.
We have a Lakewood here in California, so imagine I could see how Lakewood pops up everywhere. There's one in Florida that's everywhere. So, yeah, geez.
This last segment that we do, we call it the sauce, and we have a video. But the sauce is just, what would you tell your younger self? Anything that you wish you've done different, and any plans for the future?
The name is Bootsy, baby. And this shout out goes out to Drew and Fuse, all the way from Cincinnati to the LBC Bobble. Yeah, I was told you guys are quite the chefs, and you got a delicious sauce that you cook up. Ooh, and it drips that swagoo and breaks down the recipe. Yeah, and you giving up the pig, cause it's funky. As in good, that is. Finger funkin' good. On the one by the power of the one. Yeah, without that, there is none. So get yours and be in tune with the one that loves you. Get it, baby.
All right.
I don't know what to say to that. Other than I know exactly what I want to say now, and my regrets are that I didn't turn out to be that guy. I feel like I missed
Bootsy's the man. Bootsy's the man.
Yes. So, any advice for your younger self? Anything you do different? Any plans for the future?
I would say, you know, personally, my mental health could be better with how many events I'm doing, the lack of sleep, the traveling, and everything. I didn't think that my mental health would take a hit doing that type of stuff. But when you DJ for bigger crowds and you're DJing for a higher ticket, there's a lot more on the line, and I feel that. And I feel like if I worked on my mental health, and progressively every single year got to this point, instead of just being like, holy shit, TikTok, you got 1.2 million followers, I think I would have been it would have been easier to kind of accept all of this. Now it's just like, I have to, make all this work. And some days, I'm not going to bullshit you. Some days I go out and I'm like, man, I have a lot of anxiety today. And then I perform and, it feels great because that's my home place. You know what I mean? I feel awesome when I'm DJing. But yeah.
It's very important. I think we all take it for granted. And, me and Fuse have even just taken 3 months off because we were both hit a wall, and, just taking care of yourself is valuable. You really need to do it. It's something you can't overlook for sure.
No, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I think that, everybody's got to remember to take a break every once in a while. And, it's hard to do and perform and like be happy. I mean, we all know that we can do what we do, but when you're in a good space, it makes it that much better. You want to be there you can always tell, like the nights where I've like had a good week, I can just the energy of what I'm doing is just, so much better.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. We've definitely all been there. I think that, and then for me too, it's like, you're a person at the end of the day, right? But when you're on stage, you can't let your current mood affect your stage performance, right? And the thing that I worry about is when that line gets blurred, right? You DJ show after show after show after show for big event after big event after big event, bigger and bigger and bigger crowds, right? You have to kind of fake happiness at, a certain point, right? Fake a smile at a certain point. And I just don't want my body and myself to get confused with what true happiness is.
Right. It's a good point.
It's a good point. Yeah. Very good. Very great advice.
This has been awesome today. We appreciate you coming on here and chatting with us. It's been really good to talk with you. And
of course, yeah,
you made some really good points about things that I don't think have been talked about in the history or course of the show. So that's been cool. Real quick too, if there's anything you want to plug, if your Patreon, if you want to tell people where they can find you, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I have these Mr. Wired Up gag ball clamps, and they fasten. They're actually various sizes, and you can get them at my store. Just go to patreon.com/Mr. Wired Up, and you'll be set.
Perfect.
Go.
All sizes, all ages, all occasions.
Love it.
No, I don't have anything. I'm sorry.
But no, and Drew's gonna.
You gotta have merch, man. I mean, you got some merch. You got your shirt, right? You got merch. You selling it on your website. So I'll give you my thing. I tell everybody, we do a lot of research on the show to try and find our stuff. You need your own personal site, man. I feel like I need like you and not just attached to the brand,
I hear you loud and clear, and you're absolutely right.
I think it's important. I think you are important as your own brand. I would say if it's something that I learned, I focused too heavily on my brand, and then when I realized I hated booking other DJs, I looked at my own brand had been neglected and didn't exist, and so I've slowly been trying to redo that. So I think you should have your own website and that kind of stuff.
Just don't put that new phone number on it.
Yeah.
Keep the old phone.
But yeah, I would say, I mean, I want to know about you, right? I don't necessarily need, if I don't even want to book you, I just want to know your stuff, or find like a video of you, or find just stuff of just your stuff, So I think it's important as you grow that brand.
After this, I'm definitely going to hit you up and follow up. I have some follow-up questions for sure. But
yeah.
It's a great idea. Really good idea.
Yeah. I loved this episode. It was really, really great talking with you and having you on, man. So thank you so much for taking the time.
Absolutely. I'm glad we got together. And again, anytime, I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, thank you for bearing with us on the couple reschedules as well. So
Hey, man, I get it. We're all extremely busy. This was going to work out one way or another.
Yeah.
It's just, whatever day in history. And so I'm glad it was today. Thank you guys for having me again. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You want to close it out?
Yeah.
Before you go, we have something. Oh, go. Sorry. I'll cut that.
I was just going to say, and that's going to wrap up the show for today. So until next time, we'll see you guys later. Peace out.